Hey everyone, so today I figured we make a split because I have a reason for it. So come along, join me. I'll show you how we're going to make this split, tell you why I'm doing it. Stick around. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hive Doctor. Today I'm making a split because one of my clients' colonies out of their two is absconded. And it's part of my contract I have with them that if they lose a colony within the first season, that I will replace it for free. And in this case, the reason they absconded because we're having an unusually dry spring. And so we got a bunch of hungry bees. And I've seen it before when a colony, especially these small ones, are trying to make it and they are really, really hungry. They will abscond, leave the nuke box that I usually have them in, and hit the trees looking for a better place. So I had to do some emergency feeding on the remaining of my client's bees that I had established this year from packages. So we're here today. I'm going to split from one of my hives here into this Pro Nuke box, this 5-frame deep, because this is what I have. I'm a big fan of splitting into wooden nuke boxes, but I don't have any. So we're gonna pop into these, and I don't even know if they're splittable. This is just kind of a recent thought. So we're gonna find out. And I'm not even sure if they're in there deep yet, because I don't swap my boxes around. I just let my bees move up during winter, and then they move back down in the spring, just like they do in the hollow of a tree. So if I find that the split is primarily in one of these two upper medium supers, then I'll just take 5 of those frames. Either way, as long as they've got the resources for it, I'm going to take the queen, some brood, some food, and walk away with some bees today. So just looking down, I can see brood. Some of it's drone. I see some worker, but I want to see if they've got enough bees first. Gnat in the eye. I want to see if they have enough bees first for a split. So if they have some in the deep, then I know they've got enough. If they're not in the deep yet, we're going to have to go to another hive. And they are down there, but not enough for me to feel like I can comfortably make a split without putting this colony at risk. So we're going to abandon that on this one and move to the other one I have in mind. As you can see, this one's pretty busy. I'm going to remove their feeder from the back here and smoke them there a little bit. And before I even bring my nuke box over, I'm just going to go ahead and take these girls apart and see if it's worth making a split from. And my feeling so far is that it is, because there's a lot of bees. A little bit of smoke up top between the two supers, so I don't get popped in the nose. Probably wondering, why don't I just pull my veil over? Well, it's hot and I don't feel like it. I like being able to go without protection. That sounds funny. Without a veil in my face when I'm in a hive. That's an awkward way to hold this, but it's a heavy box. But I do have my veil in case I do have to pull it over real quick. Okay, one more box to come off, and then we'll see what we're working with. They are down in the deep. Let's do an investigation into that one. A little bit of smoke and I bring you guys closer. Okay, generally when I make a split, just the easy way, I'll walk away where I'm not introducing another queen. I'm looking for 2 frames of brood. Ideally one of those is open brood and the other one's capped brood. And in this case, because I'm making this split for my client, I want the queen to come with it. So they're down here in this deep. They're working on freshening up and building this old comb back. That's not a frame of any resources to speak of. I don't think I've got many resources. They just recently got down into this deep, and blackberry has just begun to bloom, so I'm just starting to put some nectar down in here. I will probably end up taking 5 medium super frames, but since I'm already down here, I'm going to go ahead and do a check for the queen and set her aside so that I know that she's going to go with the split. There's one of my Varroa control frames full of drone brood, and this frame here is full of worker brood. They do this when they've got a little bit of extra space they feel like that they need to fill. Don't see the queen yet. Ha! Oh, and look at this. This happens from time to time. This must have been a box from the queen raiser from last year, and I just never took the cell of the queen holder out. They've got drone up here, or drone brood up here, drone brood down here. That's funny. They just work around it. Work it in. Now this box here is beginning to buzz. That normally tells me the queen is not present. They're starting to notice her absence. Let's see if that holds true today. That's full of brood, open brood. That's what I would expect to find the queen on. Let's go ahead and give these last 2 frames a look. Just in case. No queen there. Got some big old drones in this colony though. And I don't see her there. Last frame. They're cleaning this box up nicely. Don't see a queen on this one either. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this one back together. How many frames do we have in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tells me how I need to space these. All right, so now we're going to go through this box. Remember, I've got 2 medium supers off. No queen excluders are involved. So our queen could be in either one of those. And I could have missed her in the deep too. But we're going to look through this one next. And it's important to look through it before I put it back on that, because in case it's not obvious, if I put this back on that and the queen is in here, she could crawl out of this box right into the deep and we'll never find her. So let's go ahead and look through this one. 1 frame at a time. So that's full of pollen, a little bit of nectar. We're tucking it away real nice. Let's bring that one in so we can give ourselves room to work. Nice frame of capped brood. I've got the kind of build up here on the bottom that scrapes against another frame. That's kind of dangerous when pulling in and out. You could roll a queen on that. I don't like that, so I try to remove it when I can. I don't see the queen on this frame. Now when I put it back, I try to create a gap between the frames I've looked at and the frames I haven't, so the queen can't cross over to the ones I've already looked at. This one, it's capped brood that has emerged, but there's still capped brood crowned on the bottom, and up here is open where capped brood has already emerged, but the queen has not been back to lay here yet. Which tells me she's working either on the other end of the box or in the very top super that's sitting on the ground. More capped brood. It's a good queen for sure. More capped brood, open older larva. Pollen, capped, no queen. Mostly capped, no queen. A lot of pollen on all of these frames. Here's some, I was gonna say open brood, but it's really just a frame that she has started laying on this one. Okay, so this one's got younger larvae and eggs. This would be a frame I would anticipate seeing the queen on. But I don't. Maybe she's next door. Let's go look. Nice brood. Again, not seeing her. And this is a frame that I don't think she's been back on yet, because I don't see any eggs in the open cells here. Don't see her. Maybe she's on this last frame. Maybe she's not. Okay, capped brood. Older larva. Nectar. No queen that I can tell in this box. She could be on the box wall, but she could also be in the other super, or I could have missed her altogether. That happens mostly when you're looking for the queen. Well, what's good in the meantime is that I see what this colony has, and I know what I can take. I know I can split from this hive without hurting the half without a queen. I'm going to let the half without the queen raise their own. But for the time being, while we go through that last box, I'm going to cover this up from the heat of the sun. Okay, I'm also going to put the cover on this so that they're not all up in the sun. I'm going to put this shim right here so that I can set our final and top super on this and go through it and look for that queen. This box is very calm, by the way, and we took it off first. Their demeanor tells me the queen is likely in this box because they're not doing that buzz that they do when they start to notice the absence of the queen. Come on, there we go. Heavier frame than what we've been dealing with, so they've likely got more stores up here. Yeah, capped honey there, crowned with brood. A little bit of brood on this side. I'm going to come around and make sure you guys can actually see this. Capped brood, honey, open cells. They're cleaning. It looks like they've prepped space for the queen to lay. That drone almost fooled me. Not a queen. She hasn't begun laying on this side either, but they've made space for her to do so. This one's got open brood and capped. Not seeing a queen yet. This side, same story. It looks good though. And this time of day, I've got a lot of foragers still out. So this hive has got a lot of bees and it's about to have even more. Capped brood. I noticed some of this has emerged. There's two patterns, two laying patterns. This one's older here in the middle. Because I can tell because it's darker, and then I have another one separated by a ring of open cells, and they're backfilling that with nectar right now. Tells me they're likely going to start moving downstairs with their brood, and as the flow approaches here in a week or so, they'll start filling this with brood. The donkey's got to be in the video, doesn't he? A lot of frames of brood in this colony. Very nice queen to split from, graft from. I've got some healthy looking bees too. I haven't seen any shriveled wings. I have treated for mites, so I'm glad to see that it's doing well. This frame's a little heavy. I do have brood and there's eggs and larvae, so maybe she's on here. It'd be nice. We've been through quite a few frames. Here she is. Okay guys, I've changed up my plan on how I'm going to split. We've got our queen right here. I know she's in this box. We read all the little signs and signals correctly. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, it makes you feel better. Reinforces that for next time. So here's what I'm going to do differently. I like this box. They've got food, they've got brood, and they've got some food. And they also have a little bit of room to work into still. So instead of using that 5-frame box, that deep nuke box, the Pro Nuke, for this, I'm going to use this as my split and then just put this one back together. All right, so here's how we're going to do that. First, one of my bottom boards screened. I like that because it means they're not going to overheat when I close them in. Next, as you guys know, I like to Swiss cheese my boxes with front holes for them to come and go through. I've got this one taped up so they can't get out of this. Now the only thing I have to close up is this feeder port in the back, which I'm going to do with this. Although I just noticed the back of this bottom board is warped and the bees can get out. So let me get another one. And we'll just lay it right here. Okay. Okay, good. All right, there's that. They can't get out the front. Now they can't get out the back. They can get out of this because there's a knot hole. Man, something to be said for polystyrene colonies. In fact, let's go ahead and do this. So we know we're done with this one. Let's remove this, see if we got any bees bearding. We don't. And this box is sitting on some things. So sometimes the bees will beard on the bottom. So I'm gonna smoke them on the bottom so they go back up into the box so I don't squish any bees when I put them back on top. And I know that I saw open brood eggs in this box. Oh, not this box, this box. So I know that they have the resources to raise their own queen. And in about 2 to 3 days, I could come back. 3 days would be better because it would be even more obvious that they're raising queen cells. And that would just kind of give me some reassurance that they're on their way to making their own queen. All right, they're done. Let's put their quilting box back on top. A little bit of insulation from the warm spring heat. All right, this is done. Now we can focus on this. And I'm going to get them a quilting box too. Now these bees cannot get out. I've got a little bit of a cluster here. I want to make sure that the queen didn't come out. All right, she's not among them. Those are workers that'll just find their way home here. Okay, so we started with one thing in mind and ended up doing another. And that's common even when you plan things out, in my experience. You can go to a bee yard with certain intentions, but when you find circumstances the way they are, they may alter those intentions a little bit. And as long as you're prepared to kind of roll with the punches on that, you can adapt and make things still work out for you most of the time, like you see here. These bees can't get out. I'm not worried about them overheating because they're on a screened bottom board. And now they're already closed up and ready for me to transport tomorrow morning. I'm going to come along with a ratchet strap put around here just so these boxes don't shift on me while I'm driving. It's happened before. That's how I know. And they'll be cool until tomorrow while I'm driving. They'll be cool enough. I'll have the windows cracked until I get to my clients where I can set them back up, open things up, and let them start to fly. In the meantime, they're going to start realizing probably right now that they're already queenless because they've already begun that nervous buzz while we were in there. And so definitely within the next couple hours, they're going to know that pheromone dispersion is happening. There's not much pheromone left of the queen, and these worker bees are going to start finding ideal aged larvae and begin to draw those cells out and raise a queen, force feed that larva some royal jelly, and within 10 to 12 days, she should start emerging because we don't count the egg days, 3.5, because it's not part of the queen process necessarily. It's that larva on. So there's a lot of different ways to make a split. This is just one of the most simple and easy ones that I've done many, many times. The biggest thing you want to keep in mind is, do both halves have the ability to raise a queen? Yes, do both hives have appropriate resources in the form of brood? And that's both or all 3 stages. And do both hives have adequate resources? And where are we in the environment? I know blackberries have just started blooming. So I know that those foragers are bringing in blackberry right now, among other things. And tulip poplar has already begun to bloom, and that's a big one around here. We're pretty much right on the verge of our flow. It's an excellent time to make a split if you don't plan on making honey. Otherwise, I'd be splitting probably halfway through the flow, knowing that I still got enough bees to make a crop and still enough resources for them to raise a high quality queen. So that's it here today. Thank you guys for joining me. See you in the next video. Hive Doctor out.